the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes!
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnop.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vine, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark.
That's what we have to just kind of look at and say at this point, right? How's everybody doing? Hope you're okay. Hit us up on the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Also on our professional door text line. Get your comments about the game. Marva in Miami will join us coming up, and that'll be at about 6:45. Brian Seigla from the Boundary Corner podcast, and Mike Burnop today as well.
Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite.
And yours truly battling probably a flu bug or something. Not sure what's going on. Don't feel great. Didn't feel great yesterday. But it's kind of carried into today. So forgive me. So Indiana gets it done. And 16-0. He's now 27-2 in 2 seasons. He's got a natty. So Indiana now, along with UCLA, the only 2 schools in the country that have won national championships in college football and college basketball, men's college basketball, with undefeated seasons. Unbelievable. Good morning, Opal. How are you? Poorly officiated game. Miami seemed to get a lot of benefit of the doubt. And then they handled it with No class whatsoever after the game, which I thought was very, very disappointing, to be perfectly honest with you, to see those kind of things happening. But Indiana made the plays, and Carson Beck could not at the end, and his draft stock has to be very low right now, I would think. Yeah, body language was terrible. Wouldn't shake Mendoza's hand after the game. It was terrible. What's up, Boris? From this red hot mic at Rick's cozy basement studio, the Big Dog listening pack is ready for this worldwide podcast. Yeah, and then as the day developed yesterday, it looks like we're going to get hammered by a major storm system Friday into Saturday. So we'll keep an eye on all that. Yeah. In other words, if it hits, I mean, I hate when crap like this comes about because people start exaggerating everything and taking every little thing that's said verbatim. We're still 5 days out from the storm, but it looks like either ice or snow is going to envelop. I hate that Morris came in town for this week. But anyway, if this weather does hit in whatever capacity, we'll have to keep you apprised of the situation this weekend with the meetup, because the only guy I trust is Kevin Myatt on X. And because you got your local TV stations are going to play everything up because they want people to watch, and they love snow. All these people love snow. I don't know why, but they do. Why people root for dangerous weather that can cause people accidents and knock power outages. And I don't know. You tell me. But in any event, Myatt, you can just tell by his body language. He tries not to be an alarmist, but he knows we're going to get something really bad. And I think it starts Friday evening. We're supposed to have a big basketball game at Radford. I don't know how that affects things. As we get closer to the week, we'll figure it out. Yeah. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on all that. No, not mad at you, Opal, for the weekend. Well, your quarterback also didn't help you much last night, Frankie. Great season, though. I wish your team would have conducted themselves a little better, sportsmanship-wise. The smacking of an Indiana player after the game. Mendoza trying to seek out Carson Beck, and Beck just ignoring him and walking off the field. Good luck to any NFL team who's going to take a draft flyer on that guy. Good game, though. And I think it probably is more impressive Indiana won a game like that they really had to battle all the way up until the end, because that shows you now this team was very well structured. Not just to blow teams out, get ahead, and play ahead, but they got ahead last night, but they got challenged, and they were able to put it away. And Miami's playing in their home stadium last night, and there's, twice as many Indiana fans? Amazing. Just amazing. Curt Cignetti admitted it. Now that it's over, it is a wonderful story, maybe the best we've seen in college football. Heck, it's the best I've seen in sports in my lifetime. And now they're getting the backhanded compliments. Well, this is what could happen in the day of the NIL. It's not like the NIL. It's not like they have all this NIL going into the season. They had some. They didn't get the Mark Cuban check until 2 weeks ago. So this team's not built on a bunch of portal like major additions, like people are trying to portray it. I had a few people on the professional door text line. The backhanded compliments about Indiana. Just stop. I mean, this is the way that it works today. And I guess you're going to say any of that going forward. The game didn't have much of a feel for me. It's ridiculous that it's played on a Monday. It always has been. Next year, by the way, it's going to be played a week later. I don't know why. People you can always count on people to make the worst decisions. Every decision's a bad decision, no matter what level of leadership you're talking about. You hear something come down the pike and you're just like, why would you do that? And that's the same thing about college football. Why would you play this game as late as you are? Why would you not play it on a Saturday? Why would you not try to get ahead of the NFL playoffs? I mean, I don't know what the benefit is of playing it this late. Your calendar's already screwed up. You take all that time off between games during the playoff. Just crazy. Just crazy. But it just doesn't feel like a college football night. And then they do all this crap. And then the game doesn't start till almost 8. It just kept on waiting. It just kept on doing stuff. I don't know about you, especially when I was feeling bad. I was out. I mean, I went through and watched the highlight reel this morning so I could talk about it, but I couldn't make it. I threw in some meds and I just crashed. I felt terrible. I feel terrible right now. But it is what it is. It's that time of year. Yeah, Paul. Yeah. I watched until the second quarter. How can you stay up? I can't. Heck, I probably couldn't have if I hadn't been sick. I don't know, TLB. I haven't looked at their roster close enough. I mean, I know they have a lot of seniors. They'll lose a lot of good players. If players are eligible to come back, I would say that they'd be very interested in staying there. I don't care about any of these portal recruiting class rankings. You just trust the people that are making the decisions. I have a great quote. What did Saban say? I've been trying to tell you all about all these star rankings, and everybody gets all excited. Here's what Nick Saban said on the McAfee show yesterday. Did you see that? He said, well, think about it. At Alabama, it's a little different. But Saban said, we never looked at how many stars a guy had because you have to look at who's giving out the stars. How many times have we said this? And then he said, they don't know their ass from a handful of sand. And yet I have all these people. Oh, my God, look at all these 4 stars Tech got. Just stop. Oh, my Lord, the most 4 stars since 1997 or whatever. I don't know. Let's just see what guys do when they get to places and see if they develop and see if they're coached. The Indiana story is mostly about, well, actually, it is everything about coaching and the mindset that he and his staff took. It was great hearing James Madison mentioned so many times. James Madison. And I didn't hear that. That's right, TLB. See, yeah, you mute it. You can't. But I was just seeing today, there are actually some JMU accounts that went back and counted how many times JMU was mentioned. It was like dozens and dozens of times. Yeah, I'm not interested in hearing Fowler and Herbstreit or ESPN, which is just a terrible production. But it's about coaching. It is. It is. Sorry, Morris. He hedged his bets. Hey, he won some money, small 3-team parlays. Well, you know what? If Carson Beck had been the guy, then Carson Beck would have won you the big bet last night. Carson Beck is not that guy. There you go. Phil Almation just said 100%. Nick Saban never cared about star ranking. I'm just amazed that people. I mean, on these sites, I guess they know what's going to trigger people, so they're going to talk about it. No, it hasn't, Prometheus. It's the most amazing sports story I think we've ever seen. No, it's never happened especially when you're the worst program in Division I college football, which traditionally the record tells you they are. And you see all these shots of his first game 2 years ago. The stadium's not even half full. Yeah, completely classless by Miami. I mean, I think you see the personalities of the coach in your team, situations like that. But the big thing you do, no matter how disappointing a loss is go out when you're the quarterback and find the opposing quarterback and you have a moment. It's usually a great camera moment. Well, looking at some of the shots this morning on X, the only camera moment was Mendoza trying to find Beck and Beck just walking off the field with this go-to-hell look on his face. Exactly, Coach. They don't know if there's air or feathers in the ball, these recruiting sites. 247, worthless money grab. Yeah, it sure is. I think that's why Pro Football Focus came into play, because I actually have people there that actually do research and watch games. The people at 247 do not. People at whatever the hell else rankings you're looking at do not. Yeah, scheduled kickoff time was 7:30, and then it went off about 8 o'clock. It's just no organization to the production. Indiana and UCLA, Morris. UCLA has a 1954 National Football Championship, and they went undefeated in basketball 3 times under John Wood. But you are correct. You're half correct. Indiana and UCLA owns the only undefeated seasons in men's basketball and football. Correct. Actually, I take that back. UCLA went undefeated in basketball 4 times under John Wood. But your thoughts as you watching them? A lot of pressure was building on them, and you had a lot of people questioning what happens if they don't win that game, if they don't finish it. What would the legacy have looked like then? Does it spoil everything? Yeah, that's exactly what I did, Prometheus. I just went on YouTube and just found the condensed replay. I had to. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they think. Putting it on a Monday just makes it a dumber decision. If you play it on a Saturday night, people are apt to stay up a little later. They don't have to work on Sunday. If you go to church, you're going to be able to sleep in. But playing it on a Monday night, especially on a holiday when people have been off and they got to get up and get back and get their minds right to go back to work, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. But it won't change, and then next year they're moving it later in the year. I'm sure the ratings will be fine because it is the national title game. I think people wanted to see the intrigue of it. It's just mind-blowing what Curt Cignetti has pulled off. He has destroyed the standard. He's created a standard that won't be replicated because it had never been done. You're going to have miraculous turnaround stories with the NIL, I guess. And then you're going to have some that do not, right? So Yale in 1894. Well, I don't think that's the same thing. Or there like 6 programs. 1894. Look at Morris pulling or Paul pulling the facts. That's good. And, no matter what they do now, it's not going to feel like enough. That's the one thing that Cignetti has created. Now, he probably won't care. At least he won't make it public. But they're unlikely to ever go undefeated again, right? Mendoza was a developed diamond in the rough who just kept on, getting better and better and better. And if the Raiders screw that up, surely the Raiders won't screw that up. No. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios here in Reiner. 540-200-8294. I'm just glad that the coughing has subsided. I didn't want to come on and cough everybody's head off. McClellan Chiropractic Clinic, sponsor of our chat room. Thanks to Mark Hundley. Got to get over there and see him get popped. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. The attorney, Ryan Pry. Got to come up with a question. 701 West Main Street, our BDST fan question of the week. What's a good fan question this week, peeps? Brian says Mendoza got the crap knocked out of him. Showed a lot of toughness. Got hit late more than one. Yeah, he did. They were taking shots at him. They were. That was part of their plan. To get him rattled. Member FDIC, the National Bank is the exclusive banking partner of this program. My exclusive banking partner for 35 years. Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated. JMU Pride. Matt Roan will join us tomorrow on the program. Commercial, residential garage doors, family owned and operated for 38 years. The Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. Thanks to Bob Christ. BobChrist11@gmail. If you want to try to have your organization figure out a way to make some money quickly. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. 540-381-8011, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg, and the NRV Super Bowl. Also over in Christiansburg, 382-5525, where I hope we can still try to plan on meeting on Friday, but now things have popped up that may make that difficult. We shall see where we are at on Friday, weather-wise. Craziness. They have glow-in-the-dark bowling every Friday and Saturday, by the way, at the Super Bowl. Yeah, how about that? What's up, Big Al? Curt, too old Cignetti. Virginia players from JMU to Indiana that Tech never got a whiff of. Thank you, Justin Fuente. Morris says he's been in Joe Robbie Stadium a lot. Canes fans, pathetic. Home game should have been for them. Yeah. Couldn't even feel it. Can Miami win the ACC? It's going to look so different. It's hard to predict year to year now. You just don't know. Is the U back for good? Probably not. But yeah, we can throw that out there. Let's use that as our question. Is the U back for good, in your opinion, or was this just a one-off? Prometheus writes, this team was special. It will be hard to emulate again. I remember Saban saying no team is ever like this. I'm sorry. No team was ever like his first championship team. Yeah. The first one's always the most special. Yeah, I don't want to hear about – I mean, your coach, your team, I know Joseph, I'm not trying to be overly critical, but, you guys you took yourselves out of the postseason. The argument was that you should have gotten in over the team that was playing last night. And they have Freeman there talking. It's just – I mean, I didn't watch any of it, so I don't care, but – yeah, Michael Irvin, what a clown. I mean, that whole thing, they showed him on the sideline. I saw it this today during people were posting. Is that allowed? Like he's running up and down the sideline, like talking to the offense. Just out of control, man. Completely out of control. I don't know what all that was. I really don't. But it was disappointing to see Miami handle themselves the way that they did. I mean, I'm not surprised. Carson Beck is not a very likable dude. I think he turned himself off to a lot of NFL teams last night. Yeah, we have. Yeah, Wayne. We have. That they are back. Every year, they're back. Yeah, and they've clearly, this whole thing with the Duke quarterback, just not good for college football. Yeah, people were posting prices for tickets and parking. Just again, it just goes back to what we talked about. And I say it again because usually things we talk about here on the program, I'll see making its way through X and news very shortly after we talk about it. So maybe this program is getting out there a lot more than I think. But it comes down to you, the fan. How much more are you going to agree to absorb? Like, I'm never buying another stupid TV package to watch a game. Like that, I haven't anyway, other than when I bought YouTube TV. First of all, DirecTV kept going up. But I bought YouTube TV a few years ago to keep up with the NFL Sunday Ticket to watch the Broncos games. But I'm not going to bundle anything together. I wasn't even tempted this year when ESPN intentionally, when Disney pulled their stuff off of YouTube, didn't want to negotiate in good faith so they could try to get people to buy this new app bundle crap. I'm not going to do it. I don't need it. I don't care. So I made that decision as a fan to give that up, just like the baseball package years ago. I gave that up because I don't need to spend my money on it. It's going to be up to people. Yeah, I know. Ray Lewis over there with Beck. What coach allows that? I mean, how many times have we seen Tech alums, especially when Coach Beamer was here, and come back and, they're just sitting there together talking. They're not trying to get involved in the sideline. I don't know, Morris. We got to keep an eye on the weather. They don't know anything yet. Nobody knows. I got so many panic things. Facebook is just, and I'll never understand. And I'm not picking on you, Opal. If you like snow, you like snow. But I'll never understand why people are rooting this thing on. It's going to shut down everything if it hits like it hit. If it hits here and doesn't break up, which it could, like it's hit on its path, why would anybody want that? Everything's going to be stopped. And if you have to get somewhere, you're risking yourself. I've never understood the mentality of people who root for bad winter weather. Somebody help me understand. Don't tell me the snow is pretty. Don't tell me vast, bland whiteness covering everything is pretty, because all it does is make everything vast, bland whiteness. Call somebody, Rick, fix it. People. Yeah, I don't know if I can get that done. Oh, yeah, the Carson Beck. I haven't been to class 2 years. Yeah, since I've been here. Yeah, what was that? People are going to go to the store. Yeah, bread, eggs, milk, and beer, cigarettes. And I guess I'm more bitter toward it because it hits during my travel work months with basketball, and it makes it very difficult. Very seldom are college basketball games going to be postponed. Oh, Brian, I bet so. Yeah, UPA, all you folks, you've got to hate it. UPS, FedEx, all you wonderful people, the Postal Service that deliver. It's got to be a nightmare. Yeah, think about those people. I'll never understand it. I'll never understand why people get so excited. Not all works get canceled. Not all, and then you got to go out and you got to shovel and you got to work to get out of your house. And then you got to wait on them to do the roads, and then the roads refreeze, and you see wrecks going into work. It's like moving in and out of a demolition derby. And I don't understand it. And I see these people on Facebook, Channel 7 put something up, and these people are just celebrating. Oh, bring it on. Explain it to me. I would really, why do you root for something that's going to make life so crappy for several days? Explain. So you can look out the window. Ooh, look at it. It's white. I can't open my front door, but look out the windows. Oh, yeah. Growing up on the farm, Morris, hated it. The worst thing ever. I'm glad you got into town. Yeah, when you're a kid, you love it because you get out of school. And when you get older, you realize it was silly to ever love it. Yeah, I saw that too, Wayne. I saw that. And I think that's this storm, isn't it? There was that, it made national news yesterday, and it looked like a lot more than 100 cars. Big pileup on the Michigan interstate. Everything just stopped for hours. People stranded on the road. But hey, let's bring it on. Let's bring it on. More the better. Let's knock everybody's power out. Let's put older people at risk. Let's guarantee that a whole day we're working on trying to shovel out, and then, oh, is my work? Do I have to get to a game? Oh, I guess I got to make sure I get out as best I can. Because it's so pretty. Exactly. No, Stephen, snow has benefits from the gardeners to the farmers. Rain is the same thing. You get to play with kids sledding. Well, my kids are in college and professionals in their lives. You don't have a reason to stay home if your work's not canceled. The bike pharmacists find a way to do it, Rick. Right, cut into the slide. Yeah, always turn into the slide. Correct. So, yeah. So here we are. And this isn't a knock on the fine VDOT people. They do a great job. I mean, we're as prepared as we can be. Well, that's because, Stephen, it's a lifestyle in the Northeast. I mean, they've got it down to a science. Still doesn't mean things are easy to get to. All right. Steve is clearly trying to defend Megastorm. Yeah, the cold does the same. Cold weather does the same. I don't know why it has to be snow and ice. So I don't know how, like, for instance, Saturday we have a huge game against High Point, and I don't know how we're all going to get there. Like, but you have to. And that's what I'm saying. That's my whole point. It's however you individually have to respond to it. And I can't recall very many times, if ever, I haven't had to do the best I can, even when it's still coming down. There's nothing worse than shoveling your driveway, knowing that you're just doing it to get out in that moment. And it's still going to come back and do more. When you get back, you have to do it all over again. Funny thing is, I don't recall a single power outage. Yeah, it happens all the time, man, here. That's true. I don't know. I have to go back and think growing up. There may have been one, maybe one or two. That's right, David. Don't eat the yellow snow. I guess my thing is, even if you love it, isn't like an inch or two enough? It still does the same thing. Let's specify this. So even if you like it, for whatever twisted reason you may have, isn't it a couple of inches? Isn't that good enough? Like, why do people want it to be 2 feet? What are we doing? Am I right? Like, a coating still gives you the same experience because it's so pretty. I remember, TLB, along those lines, being up at Pulaski County High School, already at school, and then the storm would hit in the middle of the day. And I remember us out at lunch, walking out into that canopy. And it was piling up. And I remember the discussions with my friends we would have. It'd be like, well, there's only a few inches on the ground. I think we'll probably have to stay the rest of the day. Now they'll shut it down. Even if you just forecast it, nothing has to happen. Everything, it's just shut down. How that's evolved. But why do people root for the demise of progress? That's what I want to know. There you go. That this thing's going to be like, it could be like unbelievable 1.5 feet. Nobody needs that crap. When you live in Giles, you get power outages all the time. And that's what I worry about. I mean, there's a lot of people who get trapped in their home, older people. And then the power companies can't get out and do anything. So what do you do? Generator can only do so much. And I hope it doesn't develop into all this. I'm hoping that everybody, for some reason, just loves to promote it and they love to make it bigger than it needs to be. They get all exaggerating about it. People will talk about it where you're working. Hey, did you hear about the forecast this weekend? No, what? They're saying we're going to get 6 feet. No, they're not. Yeah. Right, Brian? 3 inches might get you an hour late. 2 hours late was a rarity. Now, if there's a forecast for the following day, there'll be announcements made at the conclusion of that previous day of school that school's canceled the next day. So here's hoping that of the 3 models that have been shown, that it's the one that keeps this further south and we don't get it. But I think that model's the least likely one. And then let's just change this from snow. Let's say it's the dreaded ice storm or mixed with ice. Then everybody's going to lose power and nothing's moving. No, I know, K-State Rob. Nobody, and it's so annoying that all those weather people, especially Leo, he loves him some snow. And they try to force their love of this god-awful event on everybody else with this. The guy has a snow machine, by the way. He always takes pictures every summer. He creates a snowstorm in his yard. That's how much he loves it. And it's true. You know, I drive a Jeep. Just got that on the text line. Most of the accidents, well, I won't say most, but a lot of the accidents you see are people that have four-wheel drives because they think that they're invincible, and you're not, especially on ice. Nothing moves in ice. You aren't going anywhere in ice. Nowhere. Doesn't matter. So everybody just try to go as slow as you can, respect each other on the highways, and let VDOT people do their jobs. Right? I see people passing VDOT trucks or riding them. I'm like, what are you doing? Let them. They're out here trying to help as much as they can. People are working hard. You know, why milk and bread? I don't know. I don't know why it's always milk and bread. Maybe that's what you know what? Let's do that. That's our BDST fan question of the week. What are your 3 items of emergency? If you think you're going to be snowed in for a day or two, what are the 3 items of emergency that you feel like you have to have? And it can't be milk or bread as part of it. That's our attorney Ryan Pry BDST fan question of the week. That's right, Jeff. 4-wheel drive will help you go, but it will not help you stop. And you have to know that before you get started. Exactly. Yeah, definitely not the coal miser. I hate it. I hate every aspect of it. I feel like I might be moving like in a year or so. Like I might be going south. I'm tired of it. Now I know why. As you get older, people are drawn to the south. Nobody needs this crap. Let's get down there in nice warm Delta area. Let's do that. Bourbon, wine, and chili, Steven says. There you go. Two of Steven's is alcohol related. I know somebody never has to worry about the snow is that young lady because she is Marva in Miami. And my goodness, the crying for the Canes has to be pretty loud right now, Marva. I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I know there are some people who are really hurting, and I just imagine there are so many moments that those Canes fans want back this morning. Because, I mean, this was very close. And as I was watching the game and seeing those Indiana fans, like they looked like, they were on the verge of collapse every time. Even when Indiana was up, even when they showed them in the stands, they all looked like they were so nervous, which I thought was interesting. And maybe it was because, their road to this championship game had been pretty easy. Like they were mowing people down. And Miami put up quite a fight. But at the end, they were just tiny mistakes that I know they're just kicking themselves over this morning that cost them the game.
Yeah. And Beck had the game right there on his hand, right? They played a cover 2 on that final possession, and the kid undercut it and kind of shadowed. And, oh, look at this. I got a pick, and the game's over.
And it was weird, though. It looked like the receiver was not expecting the ball. Didn't it? Like I don't know. It was very odd. I don't really know
he had a check on the other side. He had a check down the other side that people were there's a guy I follow on X, Coach Dan Casey, who breaks things down. He's great. And he showed what Beck should have done and an NFL quarterback would have done as opposed to staying locked in on that guy. So I think you're right at that point because the receiver saw the cover 2 and realized I'm not going to be a target here. And here comes the ball. It was a bad decision by Beck.
Yeah, bad decision. And I mean that missed field goal they had. Just it's tough, but that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. And congratulations to Indiana.
Absolutely.
That Mendoza's a tough kid. He was taking a beating last night.
He did. He did. He is a tough dude, man. It makes him even more attractive, I think, as the number 1 pick coming up in the draft.
Yeah. He's a tough kid, and also, he's always congratulating his teammates. He's always saying the right things in interviews. So I thought that was something interesting for me this week. I learned that he has taken these communication classes, and it's something he's worked on, being able to communicate just with like his teammates, but also in media interviews, because you always notice him. I mean, he's always saying the right thing. He's always looking at the camera, and I think that's great. And the people say he's the same way, off the camera as he is on. That's his personality. So, good on him. And I'm I'm just excited. I mean, it was a great game. I enjoyed watching it.
And I think people are going to make the mistake saying, well, so you know what? Look, means anything's possible. Not everybody else has Curt Cignetti.
Right.
And that's
right.
what people are missing. This was all because of the coach. They didn't have like a bunch of NIL money into this team. Now they will going forward because Cuban just gave them a lot of money and they've already hit the portal pretty hard for next year. These are JMU kids. These are 7 JMU starters that played prominent role. The guy who blocked the kick was a JMU kid.
Yeah.
All the coordinators were JMU players. It's really great for the Commonwealth.
That's great. That's great for them. And it shows you get the right guy in there. And especially what he was doing with the players that he brought in, what he was looking for, bringing in. I mean, just really smart and tough team. Smart, tough team. So it was fun to watch them.
It was. So they deserve all their flowers.
Yes.
And people are already saying, well, you think they can keep this going? Does it matter right now? No, they just won the national championship.
Enjoy this season.
You're the worst program ever. You just want to, who cares about next year right now? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enjoy
we'll see.
it,
Yeah.
But, already the 2 early polls are out. I have not clicked on any of them yet.
My gosh.
I'm hearing a lot of people, though, saying that, Carolina's right up there. But again, I have not clicked on the 2 early polls yet. But I saw them popping up.
Well, they're called the way too early. I don't know why they even bothered to do it. It's so stupid. But yet Tech showed up on one of them. I don't know which.
Oh, wow.
At 23. And people, Tech fans are reposting that like, we told you.
Where did you see like Carolina number 1, 2 on those?
I don't think I saw
Top
Carolina. 3? Yeah, I don't think I saw Carolina. But anybody trying to put out a poll now, I mean, it's clearly just clickbait. They're trying to get –
it is.
They want money, so they're trying to get people to look at it and read it. How can you do a poll like that without seeing how any of the portal's not even done and you don't know how anybody's going to come out of spring? It's just – stupid.
And Indiana wasn't on any of those 2 early polls last year.
No, I don't think so. They were respected, but I don't think people were. Yeah.
So it's just silly talk right now.
Well, what's not silly talk is, the guy you and I have a lot of affinity for, Drake May, in year 2 is led.
Oh my gosh!
Against my team, who lost their quarterback, so now the Patriots are heavily favored to go to the Super Bowl in year 2. For Drake May.
I called it. I said Drake May was going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm so excited, but you just never know. Like, you don't want to – you never know. There may be a miracle to come out of that for Denver fans, but I'm excited.
No, they have no shot.
Because, Drake didn't have his best game this weekend, but he had his moments. He looked good. I mean, C.J. Stroud, I don't know what he was doing. He looked very bad.
He was terrible. I don't think he's the guy even going forward now. I don't know how you can.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what's happened to him in the last 2 years. It's insane. It really is.
Obviously, I was going for Drake and going for the Patriots, but I felt bad for him just because he looked so bad. And I've seen since the game people talking about him, and they were saying it during the game. Like, he looks like a high school quarterback out there. What's happening?
I don't know.
And, that's probably offensive to some of the better high school quarterbacks out there because he looked awful. And you can't even give all of the credit for that to the Patriots defense. I mean, give them some, yes, but some of it, he just made some boneheaded plays that nobody can understand what was going on.
No, and May wasn't great. The weather was terrible.
No, he wasn't. But he fumbled the ball several times.
I think it's supposed to be nice in Denver on Sunday.
Yes. So, but when they needed him, though, he really came through, and I'm just excited. I keep saying to people, anyone who will listen, he is the future of this league, and people better recognize now and get on board. My husband's tired of it. He's tired of me talking about him. I said, I know you wish you had him in Dallas, but he will never say that, but I know he does.
Yeah, Texas and Penn State, right? For me, that's top 2 teams, Texas and Penn State. One fired their coach.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just whatever. And I thought about you last night because I know you hate ESPN. And I thought about you because of them bringing Marcus Freeman on. I don't know if you talked about that this morning, but
a
I
little
thought that
bit.
was a bad a bad idea. And
A
again,
guy
I
who
don't have
cursed the
anything.
postseason, who cursed the whole setup, who cursed ESPN, they bring him right there on the set. It's
But the thing about it is when all this Notre Dame talk came out, and I guess they're really happy that Indiana won because they were so mad at Miami was even there. But I mean, Miami did prove that they deserve to be there. Um, but I never heard it so much from Marcus Freeman, and maybe that was something I missed. I was hearing it, from their AD and other people at Notre Dame who were just being outrageous. I mean, they were like, so all of a sudden, head to heads don't matter. So I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing. And I think maybe they've come back to earth now, hopefully, because it was embarrassing. I thought it was just so over the top that it was embarrassing. If they had beaten Miami and then Miami got in over them, yes, I understand. They would have been
correct.
justified, but they lost on the field. And then to come out there, and then their fans have been so annoying. So, like I said, I guess they're happy also this morning because they had a hatred for the Hurricanes.
Maybe so. Isn't that sad if that's the case? If they're actually like, yeah, see there, we were validated.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. They made it to the national championship game.
No. and you did not deserve to be there. And you should have played the Pop-Tart Bowl or whatever it was. And,
Yeah,
just,
no, you should have. Should have.
yeah, it's embarrassing. And there's so many good people they could have brought on. And I mean, I heard that, he actually, he did a good job up on the set. I didn't watch. I didn't start watching till the game actually started, but I don't know. I think it was a boneheaded move to bring him on.
No, it
or
was.
anybody
It
from Notre Dame. Why?
Yeah, why?
They didn't.
It just shows you their place. This is why they feel the way they do. This is why they say the things that they say and respond the way that they do, because they're Notre Dame. They still get all theirs and eat it too. They get everything, except for this year.
Not this year. No.
But then next year they're guaranteed to be in the. If they're in the top 12, they're in the playoff. Doesn't matter.
I hate that.
Or
I hope
whatever
they're not
it
in
is.
the top 12, but they probably will be. Whatever. It's just join a conference or just be quiet.
Yeah, I know. Good morning, Christopher Lester. How are you? All right, so Marva, we put the question out there, BDST fan question of the week, and you don't have to worry about this. Because,
Okay.
You're in Florida.
Yeah.
But if you knew you were going to be stuck at home for a day or two, which I think most people will be this weekend.
Oh, wow.
Here,
Okay.
what would be your 3 items you would think you had to get at the store, and 2 of them can't be milk and bread? Because I doubt people are running out of milk and bread as much as they act like they are.
Right. What would I have to get? I got the kids here. I mean, and I hate you said I can't do bread. Like, how are we going to make our grilled cheese sandwiches?
I'm assuming you already have bread.
Okay,
Like,
assuming we already have bread.
If you have kids, you already have bread, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to want something sweet. And I know this is not practical at all. Like, it's totally impractical. But I need some cookies or something to help me get through the tough time. So I'm going to get some cookies. And I'm also going to get some stuff to make, and this is going to sound totally bad because it's not really wintry, but I love some nachos. I mean, I want to have to make sure that I have some ground beef, and I have
meat
some
with
cheese, and I have some chips so I can have these. These are the things that I'm going to want if I'm snowed in. Again, I know that it's totally impractical. I know I should probably say something like, I don't know, crackers or something that you can have in case you lose power or something. I should be saying these practical things or some canned foods, but that's not what I'm going to want.
What I'm really interested in is the people on my text line are saying how much of it involves alcohol. I'm like, okay.
Oh, well, not for me. I'm not a big drinker, but I could see people feeling like they need that.
Yeah.
To get them through.
Yeah, meat's
yeah.
got to be a part of mine. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%.
So I feel badly for you guys, and I do want to let people know that it was actually cold here this weekend, and even yesterday. Like,
cold.
It was in the 40s yesterday.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I had to take my daughter to a doctor's appointment, and it was at 9:00 in the morning. She's like, why did you schedule this? I had to explain to her how these things work. I didn't like have my choice of times. That's when they were available. So we get out there and I'm wearing like a little sweater and I'm also wearing jeans, and she had on long sleeve, like a long sleeve shirt, but she did not wear socks. She wore sandals because we're Florida people, okay? And she's like, wow, it's cold out here, because it was in the 40s.
Yeah.
And so
you know how much we would love it here if we woke up all week and it was in the 40s in January. We'd just get up going,
yeah,
40s.
And like today, it's warmed up. It's like supposed to be low 50s. It is like when I woke up this morning, I think it was like 51 or something. But still, it feels cold here. We're not used to this. And I was thinking,
break out the parkas in 51.
Yeah, I did see people wearing parkas yesterday when I went out. And to see, I was thinking about the Indiana fans. And usually people like to come down to Miami for a game in the wintertime because they get to enjoy the warm temperatures. And I was thinking, they're not getting that. But then I checked the temperature for Indiana and Indianapolis, and it was like, I don't know, it's in single digits or something. So I was like, they're probably enjoying these 40s and 50s.
You didn't have a great basketball trip out west?
No, it was bad. It was very bad. Just disappointing outing against Cal and disappointing outing against Stanford. Carolina is having some big problems right now on defending on the perimeter, and it's bad, and it's cost games. The other thing that's really bad right now for Carolina basketball is free throw shooting. It's bad. And the guys who are going to get to the line most, like Caleb Wilson, does not have a good free throw percentage. And I know everybody talks about how hard a worker he is. So I know he is working on it, but he's got to do more. And Carolina's got to figure out things. Like, it was interesting for me watching the game against Stanford. Carolina was down and it started having some success when they went to a trap. And I'm like, why weren't you playing this for much more of the game? And so if Carolina doesn't figure out these defensive problems, and if Carolina doesn't improve free throw percentage, it's going to be tough for the Heels. I mean, they play at home again on Wednesday against Notre Dame, and I think that hopefully is going to be a bounce back game. But they have some tough contests coming because they're going to play UVA on the road soon, and have got to get these things worked out. Like, I'm not, the ship, is sinking type person, and I'm not like that. And there are some fans who say the season's already over because they lost back-to-back for the first time. I'm like, guys, get a grip. It's not over. But there are problems, and I have faith that they're working on those, and they're going to figure out some answers because it's just tough. Last year, Carolina had an awful front court and, was doing okay at the guard position. This year, great front court, can't figure out things at the point guard position right now. And that's something that's got to be worked out. And so, again, I'm hopeful that they will do it. I believe that they do it, but, I'm an optimistic person by nature. But it has to be worked out. I mean, it's got that perimeter defense has to be figured out, have to figure out how to stop the three, have to shore up that point guard position, have to figure out who your guy is going to be. Like against Stanford, they did start a new guy. They started Derek Dixon over Kean Evans, who had just been disappointing all over the place. And I'm hoping that's going to be the plan going forward. And I hope they're going to play Dixon for more minutes and get this thing figured out. But yeah, fans are already, people saying mediocre team, not going to make the tournament. Just people are all over the place. I still have faith. I think they just need to work out those things, but they are serious problems to work out.
Do you still believe Hubert is the right guy long term?
I still think he can be. I want to see what he does this year. And I think, he has some things against him. There are some people, because he's not, he's not he's an intense guy, but there's certain things about him, like personally, that people think he's too friendly. They think he's not tough enough on the players. And I don't know if that's the case. But I can see why people think that, because there's certain things about him. Like the guy doesn't curse. And there are people who he can't have it. That shows you don't have passion or fire. And I don't think you have to be that. I don't think you have to be a bully coach. But people say, he's too much of a player's coach. He's too friendly to these guys. He doesn't get on them enough. And there's some things that have historically been the case at Carolina you don't see him do. Like you would see Roy, or you would see, Dean Smith, that if the players aren't playing well, they would take out the full starting five and just put in, backups to send a message and things like that. He hasn't done that. I don't know if he has to do that. And I don't know what's going on in practice, because sometimes people always say, oh, why don't you start this guy? Why don't you start that guy? And I mean, people are even saying the team was better when Trimble was out. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. And I don't know. Those people are like, I don't know what they're on.
They don't know anything about college basketball.
Yeah.
They think that Carolina was better without Seth Trimble.
Yeah. I don't know what these, couch coaches are saying, but there are legitimate problems. And let's see what he does. Let's see the adjustments that are made. Also, I've heard people talk about how all of the teams who are traveling out west for the first time for conference games, I don't know if all of, there may be one exception, but have sort of struggled out there, and it's maybe they're just not used to it. I don't know. But I also, people who were looking at what Carolina did before they went to conference play and after conference play, it always gets tougher in conference play.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always tougher. Everybody is gunning for you.
Yep.
It's tougher, and I want to see what they do going forward, if they figure out those problems on defense, because that's the main thing. Figure out those problems. And with the free throws, I don't know what you do. What do the good players do on those? Are you shooting 100 of those a day? I don't know. Or more? I don't know, but that has to be worked out, because once teams see that you're not making those, they're going to put you on the line, right? That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Well, great stuff as always. Stay warm. Try to stay warm in 50, low 50s
this
this
morning. Sweater, Rick. I am wearing a sweater. Okay, it's tough out here.
I'll send you pictures of the disastrous weather we get this weekend.
Okay, I'm sorry, and I'll send you some pictures from here too.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, please do. As you're walking downtown. Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
All right, great stuff as always, and my best to you and your lovely fam.
Thank you. Bundle up.
Oh, I'm bundled. See, I already got a hoodie on. I'm bundled. Yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah, I got my sweater on. I'm prepared. Yeah. These 50s won't catch me unprepared.
No, those 50s. And I know you're going to get up into the 60s, maybe low 70s.
Yeah, probably later on today. Yeah.
But be ready.
I'll be ready.
All right. Be good, Ms. Marva.
Okay, you too. Bye, Rick.
Marva in Miami. Yeah, she didn't have to worry about it. Good synopsis. Marva's really good. Marva breaking down Carolina Tar Heels. All right, so here we go. So Joseph calling us a bunch of Notre Dame haters. We're not. We're just pointing out things that are true. Irish don't need to join a conference because they're allowed to be part of everything by the people who make those decisions. I guess the question is, and even if you're the biggest Notre Dame fan in the world, they embarrass themselves from one side down the other with the way they stomp their feet and refuse to do anything. Now, granted, the bowls are worthless. I don't want anybody talking about bowls anymore as a benchmark because they don't matter anymore. College football has destroyed the bowls. But the question I've always asked, and I know Notre Dame's smart enough to know their power, why are they allowed to have different rules? And I think that's what people outside of South Bend, Indiana, because right now they're not even the best program in their own state, thanks to Curt Cignetti. Why are they allowed to have that exception put in? And we know the answer. It's about money. But it's hard for people who aren't Notre Dame fans, whose schools get punished if they don't play in a conference title game or have to go out and play conference road games, which Notre Dame does not have to do. I know they play their 5 ACC games, but they're not conference games. Why? You know what I'm saying? So why? It's entitlement because you've always been given that. I think that's the difference. It's not hating on Notre Dame. You can talk about this with, see, this is what I'm saying. This is what we talk about a lot. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you're hating them or hating it. You're just discussing why we see it from our point of view and you see it from your point of view. You're a fan, so you're going to look at Notre Dame the way Notre Dame looks at themselves. I get it. but they're going to always be given the benefit of the doubt. And nobody who's not a Notre Dame fan understands why it's like this every year. And next year, they've got the thing that kicks in. If they're a certain ranking, they're in the playoff. No discussion. So Notre Dame has their own network. They get to keep all the money. They can schedule any way they want. And look at next year's schedule. It's not necessarily a murderer's row. And when you are more powerful than this corrupt system, everybody who's not a fan is going to look at it differently. Lou Holtz won the last Notre Dame national championship. Somebody can check the year. Was that Joseph? What year was that? Was that 88? I don't know what year that was. Yeah, there's no Notre Dame mystique anymore. That's true. The mystique of Notre Dame was real, but not anymore. Not anymore. So it was 88. Wow, pulled that one out. So it's been 37 years since Notre Dame's won a natty. Yeah, that's right. They beat West Virginia. Major Harris, correct? Major Harris, the quarterback for the Mounties. Tony Rice, thanks. Yeah, Tony Rice, that's right. He was the Notre Dame quarterback. Rocket Ishmael, Rahib Rocket Ishmael. Joseph says if Georgia or even Miami didn't make the playoffs, got knocked out by Tulane, those head coaches will be there crying as well. Well, you have to worry about it from Georgia because the SEC is never going to be – it's the same thing with the SEC. It's why if you're outside of the SEC and you're not an SEC fan, you hate that they have this special relationship with ESPN. They're also part of the entitled. Big Ten's won 3 straight national championships, and the SEC will still every year go into the year like they are this separate masterclass of college football. And they're just simply not anymore because of the portal, because of transferring. The Big Ten right now is the most powerful conference in college football, strictly on wins and losses. They've won 3 straight natties, 3 different programs, one being called Indiana. The other 2 were Ohio State and Michigan. But I think the arrogance that the AD and Notre Dame showed, they got bombarded for a reason. They just picked up their ball and went home when they didn't get what they wanted. We all had to deal with that growing up. Sometimes you'd be out playing backyard ball or whatever, and somebody would get their feelings hurt and they just leave. But all fan bases, and I've learned this from coaches, are delusional about the teams that they are embedded in. It's just the way it is, especially in college sports, college football, college basketball. You separate what is actually happening because you want it so badly or you believe that what you do, your place does it differently than somebody else's. And, that's what being a fan. A fan is short for fanatic, right? So it doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's just that's what we are as fans, right? That's who we are as fans. That's what fans do. I try to live in reality. Like I know, for instance, I'm a Broncos lifer. I've never rooted for any other NFL team in my life. And I know that the chances of them winning Sunday with Jarrett Stidham are few and far between. I mean, take out any quarterback, take out any team that's left in the Final Four and put in their backup quarterback, how far would you expect them to go? So I do take a more realistic approach. Like, look, I know the Broncos came out the beneficiary of a very controversial catch or pick call in that overtime. I get it. And I even said as much. I understand. If I were a Bills fan, I'd be pissed too. I get it. I'm not sitting here trying to make excuses. And I've seen that call go either way. I don't know. I watched it. I don't know how many times I've watched it. I can't tell. And I get it, man. So I'm not sitting here like pounding my chest. Hey, my team won. Ha ha. Well, the Bills were down 2 receivers. And they still almost went in there and won that game. I know, exactly. Yeah, only my team, Tebow, can get to the first championship game in 10 years and have their quarterback. And it may have happened on the Joey Bosa late hit. Have you seen that late hit? Like, I think they may have it wrong where he got hurt. That was a dirty play. That was a dirty play. Yeah, and you know what, Joseph, you're right. Bowls are pointless. Yeah. Yeah. The bowls are pointless. So not playing in the bowl is not really the thing. I think the way they handled themselves and put themselves ahead of everybody else with their complaining, I think that's what people are talking about more than anything with Notre Dame. Right? Not necessarily you didn't play in a bowl game, just the way you kind of presented yourself, the way your AD presented himself, reminding everybody of what Notre Dame thinks about the rest of everybody else. There you go, Prometheus. You're right. You're right. You're right. Thunder, I was hoping Denver would pick up Phil Rivers. No, that was never going to happen. I mean, Sean Payton's going to ride with Stidham, and we'll see. We'll see. Mike Burnop joins us coming up a little bit later on. Yeah, I agree with that, Prometheus. I think the best fans are the ones who criticize and look at things sideways glance and don't just accept everything and be in a rah-rah. No matter what your team does or doesn't do, you just accept it and move on. Happy. You can support them and want them to be better, but yeah, I'm always going to look at it realistically as a fan. It doesn't mean that you hate them. It just means that you've got a really realistic eye. And that's a great point. Those 15 practices are important. That's the only thing. That'll start to mean less and less with the portal. But right now, Chris, you're right. You're right. If you're able to keep guys. Right now, during the bowl time, though, teams are trying to keep their rosters together because of the horrible calendar that we have in college football. So, because everything in college football is completely screwed up. Every aspect of it. Yeah, what's up, Brian Seigla from the Boundary Corner? You caught us in. We're just having a great discussion in chat today. How are you?
Hey, you know what? I can sign on with the everything in college football is broken right now. But in some ways, in the best way, with what we saw last night.
Yeah, it is. It's just there's no aspect of what's going on that's good. Fans are still going to go. The game never should be on a Monday. The game had no feel for me. It's a great story. Started at 8. They kept delaying the start. It's just But Indiana's story is terrific. It's not necessarily one draped in NIL. I mean, they didn't really do that yet. They're going to, but they have to now. But that money that came in, but it's all a bunch of JMU kids. It's all a bunch of guys who went out and filled in gaps when he got there 2 years ago, and now here they are holding up the natty, man. It's just crazy, isn't it?
It is, and like, you know, as a Virginia Tech fan, it definitely gives, you know, that outsider type energy, slight disruption of the status quo. I like that aspect of seeing Indiana go out there and win, and you know we can prognosticate of, well, if this team had been there instead of Miami, what would the outcome have been? And that's why we play the games. That's why we have a playoff. That's what this thing was designed for, is that you go out there and you've got to take care of the team that you're matched up against, and that's how you end up winning this thing. And you know, Indiana would have been in that slot regardless of whatever format we would have had based on their regular season. So they were going to be in this game regardless. They ended up, you know, facing Miami in the final because of the way the playoffs shook out. And yeah, it was a fun game to watch in some ways, just because there was kind of like a defensive chess match most of the way, and then all of a sudden you get, you know, some scoring explosion there at the end. But you know, like I said, as a Hokie fan, it gives you a little bit of hope of, hey, if you put the right things in place, you can make a run. And Indiana was, you know, a year removed from being kind of considered the fool's goal of the playoff last year, and now they end up winning the whole thing.
And that's what, you know, Tech fans going to find out. Do they have the right things in place? I know a lot of people are assuming it is, but we'll see. Does it all work out? I think this is such a one-off. This is such an anomaly with what Curt Cignetti specifically has pulled off at the worst program in the history of college football until he got there.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's the most amazing sports story I think we've ever seen, and I don't think that's hyperbole. I really don't.
No, and I think doing it in the Big Ten is even more impressive. Like you could understand a team, you know, getting by in the Big 12 and then going on a really hot run in the playoff, right? Like you could probably see that happening, but to run the table in the Big Ten and then do what you did in the college football playoff, that's impressive. And that doesn't happen to teams that aren't well coached, that doesn't have players that are disciplined and do the right thing the majority of the time. You know, there's something to be said for discipline and accountability across the board. It seems like Cignetti has definitely made that a focal point of the culture of Indiana. And you know, they're a very veteran laden team, and I think if you're gonna be an upstart like that, that's kind of what you need to be. Think about like in March Madness, any of those Cinderellas are usually those like senior laden teams that all of a sudden
the mid majors,
all the right pieces come together to make a deep run.
Yeah, you're right. Right. It's craziness. And I think the way they won last night makes it even more impressive because they'd blown away Alabama and Oregon, but the way they had to kind of make plays at the end and had to win that game because of their defense and going back to all their fundamentals kind of speaks even more about what Curt Cignetti was able to accomplish. You know, the way they won that game was special, in my opinion. They had to battle.
I mean, you could call it like it was a very gritty win because Miami was playing really good defense, and Miami wasn't doing a ton on offense, but they were hitting the haymakers, right? They had a couple big plays, and the way that Indiana responded pretty much every time to the haymakers is kind of what ended up being the difference there, because they didn't take the punch and then go to their corner. They took the punch, they stood there, they came back and threw a counter punch, and because of that, they were able to come away with the victory.
Yeah, agreed. So we put one season to bed. There'll be more problems in college football before there are solutions. I mean, it's just the way it's going to be for a while. NCAA doesn't care one way or the other. Everybody's making money that's involved with it. So now from a Virginia Tech perspective, they're going to finish off their class. Are guys still going to trickle in, you think, with the portal? I know you still see it every day. There's reports about guys going to schools. I know it's supposed to be done and teams are dwindling down, but what do you think from a roster standpoint? You think it's pretty much done?
I think you could see a trickle in of maybe 2 to 3 more players. That's probably the cap on that. I would say by and large, we are mostly done. I could see us potentially adding another guard and maybe one more defensive player. That's probably where this thing wraps up. Yeah, I guess you would have till the cut, the drop date before you could officially couldn't sign any more kids here. So they probably still have at least to the end of this week. I would imagine before things get to a point where it's a full hard stop in terms of adding new kids. But yeah, I could see 1 or 2 more trickling in. I don't think we see any sort of like late bonanza or anything like that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think, and we'll see now, right? When the staff, I'm still waiting on official releases. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they've still sent anything officially out about their staff, have they? Or did they?
I think there's been like a couple here or there. I think we're still waiting on the official safety, even the unofficial safety announcement at this point for coaching that position. But we started to get some additional rumblings since it sounded like the Hokies have moved on from Lamar Morgan. So it looks like we may have a safety coach sometime this week. So stay tuned on that. But
is that the guy from? Is he in Atlanta? Is that the guy from the Falcons?
Yeah.
That's coming in. That might be coming in.
That's the national media has that one now. So usually once they have it, it's probably they've been pretty consistent, at least in this the Franklin era so far. Once the like Zenitz and Thiel and those guys get it, it's pretty much official.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, now it'll just be getting people fired up. The spring game, it's going to be free. What were your thoughts about that? He says he wants it sold out. I find that hard to believe, but we'll see. That might bring more people out to check out year one. What do you think?
You know what? I've already got my hotel. I'm ready to go. I think it's going to be. I could see us pushing at least 40,000 in there if we get the commitment that he wants. I think that's a pretty reasonable output. You're talking about probably filling up, most of North, all of West and most of East, and I think that'll be pretty good numbers there. It would give you a good look, at least visually, if the game's going to be televised. I at this point, I know it's going to probably be televised in some form, even if it's a tape delay broadcast or whatever that may be. So I think it's going to be a really good atmosphere. I think you've gotten the momentum behind the program that you probably haven't had in a while. I think the momentum is stronger this run than it was after the Pry hire. I don't think that's saying too much. And I think, for all the faults of Brent Pry during his time as head coach here, I think, one of the things that he did do well, at least from a structure standpoint, from recruiting and things like the transfer portal, is that he did leave it better than he found it. And I think that helped James Franklin kind of hit the ground running on that front.
Yeah, so what they're discussing in chat, what happened with the kid from Baylor exactly? The kid who
it sounds like it was an admissions thing. I think it had more to do with some of the credits not transferring or
yeah, this isn't all of a sudden because Tech turned him down because he didn't have academics. It's just things didn't necessarily.
The things he wanted to happen when he came to Virginia Tech weren't going to happen because of the admissions office at Virginia Tech. And basically it was kind of a, hey, if this isn't happening, I can't enroll here type situation.
You would have thought that had been worked out before they recruited him and decided to pay him, what they were going to pay him. But That's why these things, you just wait. You just wait to make sure everything's going to unfold the way it is. I hear that a lot. Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you've got, kids coming in from different schools, you're gonna get some of this rubbing up against it. But at the same time, I wish there was a way for, like, at least for college athletes, if there was some sort of like just credit clearinghouse that we could go ahead and have across the board, that we didn't have to have individual admissions offices evaluating credits anytime there's a transfer. But that's just me. That's just me throwing an idea out there into the void.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good idea.
So we don't have to have these individual admissions offices breaking the hearts of fan bases across the country. Like, it's already been handled. If it clears here, it's going to clear everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Because you just don't hear that anymore. Very seldom, unless guys get a change of mind, or if he got more money, which a lot of people were speculating as well, that they created the whole credits thing because all of a sudden he's got another deal. We'll see what happens with him, but who knows nowadays, man? None of it. Do you think we're going to ever get an idea of what Tech has paid out for these classes, the first class, the high school, younger guys, and then the portal guys? Or we just have to generally guess what they might pay?
I think we'll start to see some of that. I think maybe probably your bigger ticket guys will start to see what that looks like. As far as some of the other like downstream players, I think because it matters less, it's not something that's going to be readily made available. So unless people are tracking it down, it's probably not going to be out there.
Yeah, you're right.
I know from like a transparency standpoint that we're supposed to get more of that with the new settlement rules, but I don't know to what degree that's going to apply for some of those kind of downstream players, because it might be just a upon request type deal.
Yeah.
So,
well, whatever it is, they're in place now, and we'll see how it all develops, man. It's great. We had Phil Amation on yesterday. He's starting to break down the Tech portal class for people, and he did, the quarterbacks and the receivers yesterday and the tight ends. So it's going to be good to get the kind of insight of what he sees as a guy who's now working with Todd Grantham at UAB to help them get players. So it's cool. And it's the pieces of the puzzle have to come together. It's come together in Indiana like nobody ever foresaw, and we'll see how it comes together in Blacksburg. And that's the thing, man. So much stuff has to still be developed, and I think people tend to forget that a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I think we need to definitely exercise a little bit of patience, especially in 26, because when you see the way Franklin is rebuilding the roster, he's basically said we're taking 26 and we're upping that to a top 25 class. Now with the portal, what he's doing is basically going back and saying, all right, so 24 and 25 classes, I need to level those up as well. And that's kind of what he's done with the portal. And that's why you see a lot of guys coming in with 2 and 3 years of eligibility left. Because he's basically leveling up the previous 2 classes that have came to Virginia Tech on top of what he was able to do with the 26 class to close that out. And when you look at that, you're talking about guys that a lot of these guys have already played some significant snaps, will project to start for Virginia Tech in 26. But he's building for a 27 class that once those guys get seasoning, once those guys have played together here at Virginia Tech, combine that with what we already have on the roster, what's coming in with the 26 class, and what he could potentially do in the portal next year just to fill in those smaller gaps that we'll have versus the big gaps this year. I think 27 could really be the year you want to circle and say, could Virginia Tech be back? That's the year you're probably talking about Virginia Tech being back.
And I admire the philosophy that he has. I just wonder if it's unrealistic. Like, there's a lot of assumptions about guys you're bringing in that are going to stay beyond this year. You don't know now. 10,000 players at every level went into the portal. I couldn't believe those numbers when I saw them. There's over almost 5,000 that are still sitting there. I admire the kind of the old school mentality, but man, is it actually going to work out that way? I think a lot of people are assuming that just because that's what he wants, that's what's going to happen, but that's not the reality in college football.
So let's talk about this. I know that Virginia Tech is not Penn State. Let's preface that. But historically, Penn State has not lost a ton of players to attrition in the portal era under James Franklin. So if that same philosophy can be repeated at Virginia Tech, I think you retain most of the talent that you're bringing in, and that puts you in a position to really just have to fill a few holes in 27, and when you're trying to make a serious run at an ACC championship.
And that would be the best case scenario. Absolutely, 100%. But we'll see. We'll see it. And we'll see how these guys come together. You're bringing so many new pieces. I hear it around college basketball, which you don't have nearly as many players. And they say the toughest thing here in the portal era is making guys become a team, because who knows where they're coming from? Do they have any animosity toward? So now when you have this many football players, and that's what makes Cignetti's thing even more miraculous, is that he got them all on the same page with that hard-nosed mentality. Can that happen at all these other places, including Tech? And that's the challenge of coaching staffs, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. What do you guys got coming up on the Boundary Corner? What are you guys going to be discussing this week?
This week we're taking the week off. This week we're kind of letting the transfer portal finally settle down. We're going to start probably the following week, start breaking down this depth chart a little bit, taking a look at where depth is after the portal, with some of the freshmen coming in, whether they're going to be in the mix in the 2 deep in year 1 or not, and then start probably lining up some player and some coach interviews to kind of finish out the rest of the spring before we get to the spring game.
I hope you're able to. Good luck. I hope they accommodate you guys. I hear Franklin controls everything the assistants do as well. So I hope you guys don't get shot down. Have you already started working on that? Are you getting decent response?
We're getting some nibbles so far, but not quite as open door as the prior regime was, but certainly we got some nibbles. So I think we're at a good starting point where we feel like we can fill things out pretty well.
Well, enjoy your week off, brother, and I hope you're doing okay otherwise still, and we look forward to catching up with you guys again next week, man, on the Boundary Corner.
Sounds great, Rick. Appreciate it as always.
Thanks, man. Take care, brother. Be good.
Thank you.
There you go, Brian Seigla. He's great. Great job. They have a fun time over at the Boundary Corner. Check them out, man. They do a great job. They do. Thanks, Morris. Yeah. I took the cold meds right before I came on, and they're starting to hit now, so you feel a little bit better. But yeah, it's not great. It's not great right now. And the problem is I have to go in this morning to do some stuff. I have to travel tomorrow with Radford, so we play at Winthrop. So yeah, I'll be on the road. Mike Burnop comes up at 8. We'll talk about Indiana and all things Tech-wise. So we'll see. College football's over. I got to be honest. I'm kind of glad. Aren't you kind of glad the season's over? It's now. Take a deep breath and move on. I have no confidence anything's going to be fixed. There's so many problems. I mean, right now the discussions with the Big Ten and the SEC is what are they going to do with the playoff field? And it caused a lot of controversy. We've been talking about it with people in chat and. Notre Dame, the G5s, the JMUs, things like that. Well, Matt Roan's on tomorrow. We'll get his take on all this and see what might happen. I don't know what's going to happen. My best guess is nothing of any significance. Because the people that are still making decisions are still making all the money. And the money is the bottom line. So I don't think anything for us as fans is going to improve. I think we're just going to have to sit in this for a while. I don't think anything is going to be done to adjust the portal. I don't know how they can do it. There's going to be too many people afraid at the NCAA level to even think about incorporating a salary cap or a roster hold because they know there's going to be lawsuits. I just don't know how. And I've heard people say, well, they'll get it under control in a couple of years. No, I don't think they will. I don't think they're going to. Because once you open Pandora's box, you take the lid off that box, how do you put it back on? knowing that you have no sympathy and you've earned no sympathy. The NCAA and all of its members earn no sympathy. These commissioners, from any fan or anybody, for the way they mishandled things for so many years. Better get bread, egg, milk. Yeah, get ready for the weekend. Hang tight, only an hour to go. Yeah, but then I got to go into work for a while. And then travel tomorrow. So hopefully it's just something. I know it's been going around. Cole Wilder, who does the games with me at Radford, he missed the Radford game. He said his whole household said it just kind of hit him at once. And he said everybody was just bedridden. So he couldn't do the game with me Saturday. Our producer got sick. Like half the radio station's out. So it must be some kind of something going around. I don't know. And I'm around young people a lot. Lots of different people, because you're hanging around the team. And so it just happens. It's this time of year. Stuff happens, man. It doesn't mean you feel any better, but stuff happens. The thing I always feel worse about is you don't want to ever spread it. And I always feel like the one thing that the only reason I'm glad, well, two reasons I'm glad my son is not here anymore. He's doing great at UVA Wise and he's living out his dream, but now I don't have to worry about getting him sick. Wayne says he saw Chick-fil-A waffle potato chips yesterday at Kroger. Maybe need some of those for the snow. Prometheus, the expansion of the playoffs will just let more SEC and Big Ten teams in. I don't ever see 3 or 4 ACC teams being invited. Yeah, correct. And that's why they want it. What's up, Chris Lester? We're getting close to 800, brother. If we get up to 1,000 here soon, we'll be good. We got a ways to go. It's been a slow climb. We're always climbing, but just not at the pace that I would like. Let me double check, man. Just spread the word. Yeah, we're over 790. So we're getting there, man. We're still crushing all the metrics, though. Oh, so here we go. So Kevin Myatt is the one guy that I trust. And here's the bad news. Well, depending on who you are. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, tell your friends, man. That's awesome. Thanks for the support. And thanks for being a green member. I see that. All right, so here's what Myatt just posted 14 minutes ago. And it's not what I wanted to hear. Large plume of moisture injecting into deep cold will bring widespread wintry precipitation to central eastern U.S. this weekend, Virginia, near middle. The growing odds of 6+ inches of snow, 12+ possible for southwest Virginia south side, primarily throughout Saturday and Sunday. He said if there's a more southerly storm or north bump with mixing could reduce snow totals. But it sounds like early on he's leaning toward the heavier snow, and that's just terrible. Ice is terrible, snow is terrible. So there you go, all of you snow lovers. Looks like we're going to get it. And I don't know if it's going to be Friday or not, Morris. We'll see. Yeah, Winthrop is in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's actually an easy drive if you can get through Charlotte, straight down 77 South, like the second or third Rock Hill exit or something. Yeah. Yeah, well, I can't get in the express lane because I'm usually in a state vehicle. Yeah, I can't be an express lane guy. that's against university policy. So I'm usually just sitting there trudging. But I'll leave early enough tomorrow because it just doesn't matter what time you leave. You're not going to get through Charlotte quickly. It just doesn't happen. Yeah, well, problem is for me I have a fever. I'm masking it by taking lots of stuff, but yeah. It is what it is. Well, that's bad news from Myatt. Although there's still hope it might be a more southerly projection, which I'm hoping, but we'll see. Guess I'll cancel that trip to the island of misfit toys. Want me to send you an extra pass from Florida? Oh, I know. I see them whizzing by me all the time. People on the express route. Yeah. All the time. Yeah, VDOT, they do a great job for me. And that's why I tell people, let them do their job, man. They do the best they can with what they have. They're out there early. I'm not sure how much any of the chemicals ever work on the road. I wish they could develop something a little better. It's not on them at all. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But I really respect those people. They need to get more flowers. The people on VDOT do work very hard to keep things from completely shutting down. And I see people riding their rear ends. I'm like, what are you doing? Let them scrape. Let them do their thing. But I don't know what that's going to look like. Like, for instance, like Saturday, it won't matter for me. We'll all have to be at the game Saturday. We host High Point. And by the time the game's over, do you make it home? I don't know the answer to those questions. Those are the things that you have to deal with. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I am ever going to be somebody who's sitting around, yeah, bring it on. And more often than not, for whatever reason where I live here in Reiner, we get a lot of power outages. So, not ideal. What is ideal are all our amazing sponsors. The Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com with Bob Christ. They helped raise $4,000 for Floyd County softball. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. Give James Lawson a call at 540-381-8011. The NRB Super Bowl. Hopefully things still work out Friday night. We can be there. We'll see. Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's it. That's me, Prometheus. Yeah. Let's try to load up, keep things down till you can go do your work, and then finally get home and collapse. Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated, residential commercial garage door, sponsor of our text line. Professional Door. They are the best. Larry Ramsey, National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of the show. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel for our great T-shirts. BDST Fan Question of the Week brought to you by the attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford. We're going to have your 3 items that you think are necessary, that you have to have if snow is coming, and inevitably it looks like it's going to be a massive one this weekend. Myatt's the only guy I pay attention to, and if he's posting it on Tuesday, we are screwed, unless you just love it and you've got more issues than I know. But if Myatt's posting that, then we are in a lot of trouble. And again, that's what I mean. We don't need a foot of snow. Nobody ever needs a foot of snow. Ever. Little River Heating and Air. Charles Lee, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, presenting sponsor of this program. Thanks so much to Jonathan and Tim. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios here in Reiner, 540-200-8294. And McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hundley over. Now, he loves the snow because he's a professional skier. Sponsor of our chat room here. Bad driving is magnified by the weather. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk to Mike about the upcoming sledding. Where's Tech on Saturday? He might miss everything. What do the Hokies have on Saturday? Aren't they traveling? Yeah, he's at Louisville, so he'll get out ahead of this thing on Friday. Well, yeah, he should be okay. They've got Syracuse tomorrow, so that won't be a problem. Then they've got Louisville on Friday on the road. So he should be okay. Now people are making fun of forecasters. I think so, Morris. We'll see. We'll see what the shift looks like. I'll wait. Myatt won't put out an official call until Thursday night. Like he waits because, he waits until all the information comes together, unlike these other folks. Now, the local networks are going to play on this because they want people to watch. They know people are going to want to update it, and they're going to be, oh, my goodness gracious. They're going to promote this like you're an ESPN pregame promoting something that you're airing a week from now. But Myatt's a true weather guy, so he's just trying to give people information, plan ahead. But the way the things are coming together with the moisture that's coming, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything positive. So I don't know what Saturday and Sunday are going to look like. My guess is if you don't have to be out, you won't have any desire to go out. And my goodness, a foot of snow, it'll take a whole day to dig out from here now. I have a long driveway. It'll take a whole day. So yeah, if people want to, and you might want to come even more now Friday if we're able to have the meetup at the Super Bowl, because you might want to start drowning your sorrows. Oh, good. Yeah, let us know, Prometheus. That'd be great. His wife works in the same building as Robin Reed. Yeah, Robin, I'm sure, still does it from he probably still keeps track of everything. He's not on TV anymore. Doesn't mean he's not a meteorologist. Yeah, see, that's what the initial thing said for me, TLB, that the snow was going to start Friday evening. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, shoveling's a great workout. It can be. It can also be something that puts you in traction for a week. Indiana only had 7 total players who were given 4 stars out of high school on its roster. Just looking at some of the facts here. Michael Irvin walking up and down the Miami sideline. They're showing this video went viral, man. Players just ignoring him like, what? Get out of here. ACC went 7-3 against other P4 conferences in bowl games this year. The SEC went 1-8. People complaining about. I'm just reading some of the things on X about the game. 8 o'clock Monday night. The game was supposed to start at 7:30. Why didn't it start at 7? And, of course, the Mendoza scramble at the end. Getting in the end zone. I think if there's ever anybody who still questioned Fernando Mendoza, that run, that last touchdown run, man, oh, man, oh, man. The Raiders are going to just reap all the benefits, man. Yeah, and he should have just said no. Yeah. 50 players wanted to be on the sideline. You just say no. No. No, I don't think Irving does have a job anymore. It was an Elway-esque run without the helicopter. But his toughness now, you can never question it. You couldn't anyway. But that was he saw the lane, he took it, made a quick decision, got in the end zone. Yeah, and then Miami kind of showed what they're made of, unfortunately, with the things after the game. Slapping a player, not shake. Carson Beck, I mean, you got to think Beck has really, I would think any team has to be going, we need a quarterback, but Carson Beck, he made those stupid comments a few days ago leading up to the game about, hey, I don't go to class. What are you talking about? I haven't been to class. Isn't that ridiculous? And then he doesn't shake Mendoza's hand after the game. Those are things that the NFL does a lot of their rankings and the way they consider players with character and leadership, especially at that position. Do you ever see Carson Beck leading an NFL team? I don't. But I could see guys wanting to run through the proverbial cinder block wall for Fernando Mendoza leading a huddle. Yeah. I mean, the Raiders, what they should do is just go ahead and announce the pick before the draft. You know what they should do? They should just have Mendoza walk out there with his own draft card. Hey, I am the number 1 pick of the draft. Like when they do that stupid, I think they reduced it from 15 minutes to 10 minutes. When they did all that, you know, and now whomever is number 1 pick is on the clock. And then you have to wait till the clock. It's like, why? Why are we waiting? Like, why would the Raiders take more than 12 seconds? And that's the entire process of handing the card to the guy or whatever it is nowadays. It used to be literally you write down on a piece of paper, you'd hand it to a runner, and he'd take it up to Pete Rozelle or Paul Tagliabue. Like, why in the world would they wait any longer than they need to? Because if the Raiders do not take Fernando Mendoza, they should be disbanded as a professional franchise. No, Thunderman, if you're in Reiner, then I might need you. You got a side-by-side with a snowblade. Hey, baby, if I have to get to my Radford game, yeah, I might have to give you a call. Hit me up. I have a pretty long driveway. It takes a while. I mean, it is a good workout, but it takes a few hours. It's not like it's a quick shovel out. Someone saying that the Raiders should not take Mendoza, then why the hell are they on TV? Really? I don't even know what Last Chance U is. I don't watch any of that crap. Is that an ESPN thing? I'm guessing it's an ESPN thing. I don't even know what that is. Now, let me go take care of Creed. I'll be right back. I think he senses the snow is coming, so he's all grumpy, just like me. We'll be right back. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Is Mendoza this year's crush, Rick? Yeah, I think so. Till he becomes a Raider. So he starts wearing the silver and black. What's up, Rodney? What's up, Hot Rod? No, as time goes by, Becca's not a character guy. If I were Mendoza, I would pull Manning. That organization will never amount to anything. Team in Vegas, they have too many distractions. Yeah, Mark Davis, he hasn't been necessarily his dad, has he? Yeah. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. But yeah, that shouldn't take more time. Yeah, if you're watching any show that says, if there's any show that says that they shouldn't take him, then I don't know how that show is even on television. It's just crazy to me. Just crazy. But keep the comments coming in our McClellan Chiropractic chat room. It's great to see so many people in there. It's fun. It's fun stuff. Joining us now on the program, there he is. His appearance brought to you by Louise Baker, Long and Foster Realtors. His name is Mike Burnop. Michael, how are you, man? Good morning.
Good morning, Rick. A little chilly out there, isn't it?
Yeah, and the one guy I follow weather-wise is Kevin Myatt on X because he's the best. I don't watch any of the local TV people, but he just put an update. It looks like we're going to be hammered this weekend.
Yeah. and we're in Louisville. I don't know where you guys are.
We're home, but I don't know what we do. It's just crazy to think. I don't want to think about it yet, but it's supposed to be really bad. I mean, so yeah, are you flying down to Louisville? Are you going to have to drive back, or what are you going to try to do?
Well, I don't know yet. You know, we're leaving today to go to Syracuse, the old frozen tundra, and
That's
then
right.
and then we're coming back. Zach and I are going to come back, but the team is going to spend the night and go fly to Louisville.
Okay.
So I don't know. They'll try to fly back after the game, but I don't know how that's going to work. And we're supposed to fly back commercial after the game. I'm not sure how that's going to work. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least. I may end up driving to Charlotte and take the flight from there, hoping that the storm doesn't get to Charlotte maybe. At least you get a little closer.
Yeah, get a little closer anyway, and then maybe you can take your time. Yeah. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I was
unfortunately,
waiting.
when you're away.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about us. People that will say, "Oh, we love the snow." Well, you don't have to travel in it. And what happens during our season, Mike? It's winter. We have to travel in it. We have to go. So
Yeah, have to go, and it's hard to make up games when you got 2 a week. That's almost impossible. So
I know.
that would be difficult to say the least. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a crap show, I believe.
Yeah. Well, a few days before we have to worry about that, Indiana finishes it off last night. Truly the most remarkable thing I've seen probably in my life from a head coach going into a place like that and doing what he's done, even without necessarily right now anyway, massive portal entries. And he's done this, taking a bunch of JMU kids and a bunch of, whatever ranked kids. I don't pay attention to the stars, but it's incredible, Mike. It's incredible, that story.
Yeah, what a great story, and what an unbelievable story about our quarterback. You could write a book on that whole thing. Mendoza and his family and all that they're going through, and just showing pictures of the family and his mother and what she's dealing with and all that. I mean, that's quite the story. But yeah, I was telling somebody yesterday, you got the great movie Rudy. This could be called Ziggy, right? Cignetti.
Yeah, there you go.
Make a movie out of that, because it's been a storybook year. And coming up with a block punt, and then Miami misses a field goal, and Carson Beck has one last shot, and you're thinking, here he is at home. This is what you live and dream for. And then he throws that interception. It's like, oh boy. Mm-hmm. And especially when Indiana had to settle for that field goal, you're thinking they're going to lose by 1. And but the defense came up with a play. And, love those Aussie punters. They always go to the right. They run right into the blocker.
They do, don't they? They do.
It's like I see it happen so many times. It's like, dude, stay in the pocket back there. I mean, if you're running right into the guy that's coming to block it. So, yeah, I never did quite understand that. But good for them. They get the block punt. And, Miami's defense was good. But, gosh, they couldn't do anything offensively in the first half. And had no yards, and then it was hard protecting back. And I think Miami got away with a couple penalties too, personal fouls and holding, and late hit out of bounds. I mean, I think the officials, boy, they let them play now. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that shot he took right.
Yes.
Yeah, and when he took right in the chops, I mean, good Lord. And then one of them looked like almost like a late hit, and yeah. But, Miami had their chances, just couldn't get it done that last drive. It was like going to be a storybook inning for them as well.
Then there's this thing that's gone viral, the Miami kid punching a Indiana kid after the game, and not ignoring Mendoza. What? I don't understand. The guy wants to be an NFL quarterback, and that's the visual that you're giving,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some of that goes back to the Miami arrogance, right?
Yeah, it really does. It really does, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Mike Burnop joining us here on the program. Thanks to Louise Baker, Team Long, and Foster Realtors. Well, we'll probably never see anything like this again in terms of that story, the worst program. Heck, you remember you had to prepare for the bowl game, was it 93 against Indiana? You probably had a hard time finding anything positive to talk about on the air.
Yeah, that's the thing that turned Virginia Tech around, winning that Independence Bowl. And gosh, I can remember way back when Lee Corso was coaching Indiana, and they were so bad. And I'll never forget, they had a TV show. Everybody had TV shows back then. And I can remember watching his TV show one time, Rick, and Lee Corso was laying in a coffin. He was laying in a coffin, and he raises up and he says, "We're down, but we're not dead yet." Raises up out of the coffin. I thought, there's Corso being a showman, right? But gosh, that program was just so many losses, and the odds to win were like astronomical 2 years ago. And then Cignetti comes in and brings him and the staff and the players, and gosh, look what they've done. That's a pretty remarkable story. 16-0.
16-0. I don't know. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like this again. I don't know what Indiana will look like going forward. I mean, to expect them to have this kind of continued success would be probably a little silly. But then again, we never foresaw this happening. We didn't see 27-2, which is what his overall record is in 2 years either.
Yeah.
So,
well, I had no idea they had the largest alumni base in the country. I mean, I didn't know that. And it's like they got so much money. It's incredible. And you look at the crowds that they put in every one of those cities for these postseason playoff games have been pretty amazing. I thought they had a bunch of majority of the crowd last night. And, you got guys like Mark Cuban that just got unlimited pockets. They've got money to get players now. So
they do now. He'll
get another good roster, and I don't think they're going away anytime soon.
And I like the way I'm not saying he's a humble guy because he's not, but I mean, the whole way he says, look, we're not fancy. Nothing we do is like, we're not rewriting football. We choose what we like to do offensively, defensively. We're going to be fundamentally sound. We're going to coach them up, and we go out there and just give everybody our best shot. I like that mindset. I like a guy that's not trying to say, oh, well, what we do here is, he's just saying we play football like everybody else that's doing the same thing. We just try to make sure we don't make mistakes. I kind of thought that was refreshing to see him talking about that.
Yeah, it was. And, Mendoza had a kind of a little bit of a tougher night than he had the previous couple of games, obviously, because Miami's defense was good. But they were fundamentally sound, didn't turn the ball over, made plays in special teams when you get the block punt, and Miami misses the field goal. And, they made those plays on fourth down. I mean, how about that gutsy call on 4th down and 5 when Mendoza goes in from scores? My goodness, you're talking about a Heisman Trophy guy making his case there that he was the best. That was an unbelievable play there. And, the back shoulder fade they called on the other 4th down. I mean, they just they made the plays when it was necessary on those last couple drives and got the job done. And, it's just a great story. The one thing it kind of showed me a little bit of his arrogance, maybe. Like he got off the plane. I remember seeing this on I don't know if it was on Twitter or what, X, but he got off the plane when they landed in Miami, and he was chewing gum, and he had to do an interview with ESPN. And so he walks off the plane. He's standing there and he's chewing the gum, and he takes his hand, pulls the gum out of his mouth, and just throws it on the ground. I thought, dude, come on, man, don't do that.
Did he really?
You're like Mr. Cool, and now you're throwing your gum down there on the tarmac with the carpet that they laid out for you. And
you got to have just hang on to it. If you need to take it out, just hold it for a second while you do that. While you have a conversation.
I mean, give it to one of them 36 managers you have.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but what a great story! Unreal.
I know. It is. And with all the best of this college football, they will be celebrated for a while. But, I was talking about this earlier. People have been asking. I don't see any changes coming. I mean, they might do something with the playoff, but do you see anything significant in the near future that's going to change how we all feel about college football, which is we feel like it's in a lot of trouble overall right now?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to some of the stuff yesterday and over the weekend, and it seemed like they got to Friday to make the decision if you're going to expand, which is kind of interesting that that's like not many days away, right? You got to decide if you're going to leave it at 12 or not. But everybody kind of seems to think, hey, this is the first year with 12. Maybe we need to ride it out another year and let's not make any changes yet. See how next year goes. I do think they need to address the at-larges because, you're leaving really good teams out that could have a chance to maybe win that thing. Notre Dame's, the Texases, the BYUs. I mean, you go down the list. So I don't know what they'll do, but I kind of get the feeling that nothing's going to change this year anyway. But you never know.
No, you don't. But it feels like that, doesn't it? That they're going to leave it at 12, but they may announce, like you're saying, some kind of change on how they're going to handle all that with the athletes.
It could be. Could be, and they may go to 16. I don't know, but I even heard them talking about doing away with the championship games in the conferences. Because then somebody's going to get saddled with a loss there, right? So just move the playoffs up and don't have the championship games. Maybe do something with the week 0 games. And, you're playing 16 games. That's like an NFL schedule now, the guys that go all the way. Yep. So I think they'll probably tweak it some. I'm not sure how, but, I kind of like the idea of the not having a championship game. I mean, I know they're revenue generators and all that, but somebody kind of gets the shaft in it. But, you think about Miami. Miami doesn't get in if Virginia wins, right?
Right.
They're not in this thing.
That's right.
100%. Virginia's in and Notre Dame is back in. So
That's right. Well, you're right.
Remember that.
They do need to eliminate the championship games. There's no hype. There's nothing when you watch any of those games anymore that mean anything. You're right. They can only hurt teams and you're playing an extra game. That needs to go away. And I'm all for moving these bowl games to the start of the season. The bowls don't matter anymore, and I hate that. I hate that they don't, but they really don't. They really don't.
And you think about you reward these teams that they get to bye, but those teams should be playing a home game. Those bye teams. So I don't know. There's ways to tweak it. They got a good committee of people, but I think that would be one area too, is maybe give those teams that get to buy a home game and, still incorporate some of the bowls, but you just move the calendar up. I mean, it's the middle of January. I mean, the NFL is already in the playoffs.
I know.
So, yeah, there's some stuff they could do. We'll see what happens, I guess, here Friday.
Yeah, they need to play this game, I think, before any of the wild card games in the NFL. It didn't feel like it was – for me, I was just like, okay, the game's tonight. Monday night. Third week in January, second week in January, you're right. It's too late. It's just too late.
Yeah. And then you think about kids are going to school. I mean, I don't know when classes start everywhere else, but they start at Virginia Tech today. And so, the portal's another issue, having that thing right after Christmas, the first of the year. And some of these teams are in the playoffs. I heard them talking about maybe changing that portal window, just have one window, but have it after spring practice. And, I don't know what will happen with that either. I know there are a lot of people in favor of that. The problem with that is, you open up that window and then here you go through spring practice and you may think he's on my team. And then come after spring practice, they depart. And then you're sitting there looking for a new quarterback, new running back, whatever.
Sure.
So I don't know that that's ideal, but the whole system needs to be tweaked for sure.
And I don't think there's any leadership, Mike, in place to do it. I just don't think anybody's they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to have to maybe face a lawsuit. They don't want to lose revenue. I don't think anybody cares enough about it because they're benefiting from it too much. They're too afraid. I don't know. I don't know who it's going to take to stand up and try to do something, to be honest with you.
I don't either. It's still like in so many ways like the Wild Wild West. And, I heard one commissioner talking over the weekend that was saying that the viewership on the college playoff games was down this year from last year. So, if they're not watching it on TV, then, that's certainly a problem as well. So, yeah, and you don't want to compete with the NFL going late as you're going. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, I saw that. Those two games, the semifinal, that was shocking how much they were down. It really was. It really was. Well, let's talk about the Hokies Hoopsters. It's never easy to go up and play at Syracuse, but, a good win that they had at home against Notre Dame kind of righted the ship a little bit, Mike. And you got to kind of forget things that happen sometimes like they had to on that half-court shot. And what'd you think of the game against Notre Dame?
I thought they rebounded and played better. It was you got good balance in scoring. Amani was his old self. I thought, at SMU, the bigs had a tough time. I think Hansberry had only 6 points and Gerdak only had 2, and Dorn didn't score. So the bigs just got taken out of that game down there for whatever reason. I know that big kid, Yigatulu, is part of that. He's a shot blocker, 7'2", about 270. He's a rim protector. But they rebounded, and Amani and had a great game this game. Toby had a double-double. So, yeah, he's getting back into shape. So I think they're in good shape. That was a good rebound win for them. And, Notre Dame, of course, is missing Marcus Burton. Their best player broke his ankle back in November, and he's going to be out for a while. I don't know if they'll get him back for the end of the season or not. But the Hokies have had trouble up at the Dome in the past. We'll see what happens. It'll be, they're coming off a tough loss. They had a game in hand at Boston College, and then they lost it in overtime. So I'm sure they'll be playing with a little chip on their shoulders here tomorrow night as well. And then you got to love it, the 9 o'clock tip-off on the road in the Dome.
That means your game will not be over until 11:30. The way the ACC breaks go. It's amazing that they have those long breaks there at the media time for the ACC.
Oh, yeah. So that'll be fun and interesting for sure. And then you got to turn around and play Louisville, who is the Yum Center, which is never easy. So that's going to be interesting as well. They've lost a couple games that I know they wish they had back. So they're tough at home, though.
When are you guys flying out today?
We leave at 12:30, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
So we'll leave Blacksburg about 10:30, 11.
You get to fly. Where are you flying out of? You get to fly to Roanoke?
Flying to Roanoke to Charlotte to Syracuse, yeah.
Okay, good.
Same way on the way back, yeah, and then we'll head to Louisville. We got to figure out what to do about that. That could be interesting.
I don't know. People in chat, Mike, asking about the Neo. Is he hit kind of a wall playing American basketball? What do you think? What's going on with him? Are they coming off of the illness and everything?
I thought he played pretty good the other day. He had 7 assists, I think it was, but he had 5 turnovers too, I believe, and a couple of those turnovers get credited to Neo, and he's making pretty decent passes, and guys aren't catching the ball or they get it stripped away or whatever. He's gotten tagged with a couple turnovers that probably didn't deserve. But yeah, I think he's still playing well, and he hit a couple of big baskets for the Hokies, and I know it's been an adjustment for him, and the pressure on him is probably enormous to perform well. But I think he's hanging in there and doing okay, and he's growing, learning every day on the fly. And I think he's just fine. He's an elite passer. There's no doubt about it. Some of the passes you just look at and scratch your head and say, wow, how do you do that? So, yeah, I think he's fine. It's just, he's still a little bit of a work in progress.
He is. He's still learning as this team tries to find its way a little bit. But that's both the beauty and the challenge of conference play, right? You find out so much more about the personality of your team than you do in the non-conference. And it's going to be ups and downs. It's not always going to smooth, but you don't want it to be one of those things that kind of takes a 2 to 3 week time period to figure out. So
yeah, that's it. And he's getting a lot of double teams now, and people are guarding him. They got a lot of tape on him, so they're guarding him, trying to get up in there and be physical with him because they know he's an NBA guy, and they want to play their best game against him and show that they belong in the league too. A lot of this is so. Yeah, I mean, he just needs to weather that storm and play his game and not let all that outside noise bother him. But I think he's going to be just fine.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what we get through the end of January here, Mike, and I hope you guys have safe travels. We want to thank Louise Baker, as always, for making Mike Burnop reality here on the program.
Absolutely, we do. And Louise sent me a text. She was over there watching Saturday at the Notre Dame game, and, yeah, I saw her across the way. She got nice seats over there, and, yeah, she's a great Hokie, and can't wait to get back into the castle again. We got these 2 away games before we come home again. So, and then that Duke game looming large at the end of the month. That's going to be fun and exciting. A noon game on a Saturday, sold out already. So yeah, we love Louise, and she's a great Hokie, and I know she's staying busy.
Yes, she is. She is. And Tech's got a pretty good track record against Duke and the Castle, don't they? They play pretty well.
They do.
Duke.
They do, and this is a heck of a team. I mean, those Boozer guys, they're good. They got them playing well now. That's an elite team right now.
It is. Right now they are. All right, my friend. Well, listen, safe travels. Have fun in New York. Your late night in upstate New York on Wednesday night.
The caffeine special. Coach Young, he hates those games too. They're late night like that. But that's the way it is. We got a couple of them, so we'll deal with it and try to get back in one piece, hopefully. I know they're going to go right to Louisville, so at least that'll help. But I'm not sure what Zach and I are going to do because it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Of all the times you're on the road for basketball, you're going to have 2 feet of snow coming, and you're going to be on the road.
I know. Exactly. Well, stay safe, my friend, and appreciate you as always, Mike.
All right, Rick, sounds good. You guys have a good week, and a good win for y'all the other day, too. That was nice.
It was, yeah, at the buzzer. Got a big road game tomorrow at Winthrop, who's tied for first with us and High Point, and then High Point supposedly Saturday. So we'll see what happens with all the weather. So
hey, keep that roof blown up over there.
I know, right? Exactly. Might have a couple guys up there making sure. Yeah, with some heavy precip on top.
Yeah, snow shovels up on top of the roof
during the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't bother your antenna up there though.
No. All right, man. Safe travels.
All right, Rick.
Take
care.
Be good. Yeah, I hate that, man. Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding. No pun intended. So next week, we'll ask Mike about sledding once he's back in town and everything. I know people are excited. He posts some great videos of him out sledding on his property during the snow. He does a great job with that. So, but yeah, it's not going to be fun. I'm a little Now, I was waiting to see what Myatt was going to say here, but it's interesting he's releasing that early. Growing odds of 6+ snow, could be up to a foot. Southwest, South Side, Virginia, Saturday, all day, early, Saturday through Sunday. Still a chance it could be a more southerly storm, or a north bump with mixing could reduce snow totals. So either way, it's going to be bad. Yeah. No, not so much now. We reinforced the roof several years ago, but before, when it was just kind of an air-controlled bubble, yeah, you would run into some issues with heavy precip on top of it. Yeah. Time to line up some Rocky movies this weekend. Well, if you have power, you can't assume power. And I got to try to get through Saturday. We all do. Because all of us that have to travel have to go to the game on for Saturday to work. I mean, like Mike said, it's you can't. Conferences get stuck. I don't know how you can. And High Point's not coming from a far distance, and they'll come the night before, but they'll be stuck in Radford Saturday night. And those are the kind of things that you keep in mind here. So I don't know what it's going to look like. Just take it a day at a time. But I was waiting until Myatt posted. And the fact he's posting on Tuesday, when he's usually a guy who doesn't. Now, he's not trying to nail down precipitation amounts. He'll wait till Thursday night to do that. But it sounds like this is going to be Snowmageddon, or at least Wintergeddon, one way or the other, this weekend. But good stuff today, as always. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to all of our guests, Marva and Brian Seigla from the Boundary Corner, and Mike Burnop. Tomorrow, Ken Brown will join us. Damian Sordelette will be here. Maybe Teal tomorrow if he's not traveling. And then Matt Roan, Director of Athletics at James Madison. The last time a game was canceled. Oh, wow. A conference game? I can't remember a conference game, Prometheus. I do remember a game non-conference many years ago. We were scheduled to play down at JMU, and it was a massive storm that hit. And I don't remember the year exactly. And I remember it was me and Jeff Kleppen, and we were going to start because he did the games with me. We just started out on the road, and the game had not been canceled. And then we got the word that it was canceled because it was a non-conference game. That's the last time I remember. So, I mean, we're all going to have to do the best we can. And then I don't know how people at the radio station get to where they're going to get. It's just a lie. It's just, see, it just causes so many problems. It's just, we don't need it. And you don't need that much of it. That's the problem. Like, why does it have to be so exaggerated? So, but that, I can't remember, I don't know. I'm sure that across the country there have been games that have been, because of weather disasters and things, but I don't remember ever a conference game in the Big South being canceled. So it won't be pretty. Won't be pretty. Won't be any crowd there. I mean, we'll be playing in the middle of a big old empty, but nonetheless. But yeah, I don't know how Tech's getting back. How Mike and Zach are getting back. They won't get back Saturday. But it goes into Sunday, so I don't know we don't know what it looks like yet. I'm still going to wait on Mike. He'll nail down exactly what he'll give a visual, and I'll share it with you here. What's up, Glenn? Do the Broncos have a chance? You always have a fighting chance. I think the chances are very diminished. Just being realistic, a guy hadn't taken a snap since 2023. If it were the 2015 Broncos defense, Glenn, I would say they would have a chance. But they do not. I mean, it's Jarrett Stidham. Can you replay your ending? Thank you, Wayne. I don't know. I can try. To put it on where it would sound okay on the air without holding up a phone. I don't know. That was the Dale Jones layup at the end at the buzzer. Yeah. And then the Longwood kid fired up a beyond half-court desperation heave that was right on the line. It's one of those that, the wind of it made the net move underneath. It was like, geez. So, yeah. We'll see. That's true. Yeah, you could use that guy too. Well, 5-point favorites is pretty big on the road in the conference championship. When you're 5-point favorites, you're 8-point favorites because the home team automatically gets 3 points in the NFL and football. So the fact that they're favored on the road in a conference game is pretty big to begin with. And I think it'll go up. I think it'll go up some. I don't know how much, but, these point spreads are, football. I think sometimes people forget that, football, when you score a touchdown, kick the extra point, it's 7 points. You could lose by a touchdown. And sometimes we see these point spreads. The game's 28-21. Well, that's a close football game. That's a one-score game. And you see the point spread and you think, wow, they're 7-point favorites? That's a lot. Well, not in football. Basketball, okay, 7-point favorites is pretty considerable, but not in football. That's just one play. That's one score. Where it starts being noticeable in football is when it's 2 touchdowns or 12 to 14 points, maybe. But won't be a lot of juice in that Patriots-Broncos game. See what the ratings are in that one without Bo Nix. Broncos are up against it at home. And then you have the Rams and the Seahawks in the other one. NFC West battle. But thanks, everybody who tuned in. Please subscribe, like, and share. Appreciate everybody who's doing that. Thanks, Christopher Lester. Appreciate that. Thanks, everybody in chat. Thanks to our sponsors, our guests. We'll see you tomorrow on the Wednesday edition, everybody.